He did not look up at the sky. He looked down. While other philosophers chased truth in the realm of ideas, speaking of the soul, perfection, and cosmic meaning, Aristotle spent his time observing what was considered base: insect legs, fish gills, rotting flesh, the fragile human body. And that is where the trouble began. In the ancient Greek world, true knowledge was believed to be grand, noble, and abstract. Truth was thought to dwell in the heavens of thought, not in the muddy ground where living creatures crawled and died. Animals were not studied. They were turned into symbols. The lion meant courage. The snake meant deceit. Humans stood apart, special beings endowed with rational souls. Aristotle doubted all of this. He saw that nature did not operate in the language of symbols, but through small patterns that repeated endlessly. He began to record what others ignored: how animals moved, breathed, reproduced, and died. How the human body responded to wounds, heat, and time. There was no poetry in his notes, no myth, only detail after detail. Dry, tedious, and precisely because of that, dangerous. Because details do not care about belief. The problem was not what he saw, it was what it implied. If small things mattered, then great theories could be wrong. If animals were worthy of observation, then humans were not the center of the universe. And if nature could be understood through observation, then truth was no longer decided by who spoke most eloquently, but by who looked most honestly. That threatened everything. Priests lost mystery. Philosophers lost their advantage. Grand narratives began to crack, not by attack, but by the accumulation of small facts. Aristotle did not change the world with one great theory. He did it with a habit that seemed trivial, treating small things as if they mattered. And thousands of years later, modern science discovered this bitter truth. The future of knowledge is often not born from magnificent ideas, but from the courage to pay attention to what has long been dismissed. To the ancient world, animals were never truly alive. They were symbols. The lion was courage. The wolf was cunning. The bird was the soul's freedom. Animals were reduced to metaphors, tools to explain humans, not beings worth understanding. Aristotle saw this as intellectual laziness. He was not interested in what animals symbolized. He wanted to know how they survived. He observed fish at the harbor, touched the color-shifting body of an octopus, recorded differences between how sea and land creatures breathed. He wrote about animals that gave live birth instead of laying eggs, a small detail that shattered large assumptions. To him, animals were not moral illustrations. They were evidence that nature worked through mechanisms, not hidden messages. The implication was clear. If animals were studied as biological systems, then nature was not speaking to humanity. It was simply functioning, and that erased humanity's role as the center of meaning. By lowering animals from symbols to objects of study, Aristotle quietly lowered humans from their metaphysical throne. The human body was not meant to be dissected. It was taboo. The body was considered a vessel for the soul, and the soul was untouchable. But Aristotle saw the body not as a sacred symbol, but as a working structure. He recorded organs, functions, sexual differences, growth and decay. He compared the human body to animal bodies, seeking similarities, not privileges. He was wrong about many things. He believed the heart was the center of thought. He misunderstood the role of the brain, but he did something far more dangerous. He treated the human body as part of nature. If the body obeyed laws, then humans were not exempt. And if humans were not exempt, their special status had to be questioned. Here is where modern anatomy first began to pulse. From the courage to bring humans down to the same ground as other creatures. Aristotle was often wrong, and he wrote it down. He did not hide uncertainty. He did not erase faulty conclusions. His notes were filled with hypotheses, some correct, some collapsing. Yet precisely because of this, later thinkers knew where to strike. He did not leave revelation. He left a trail of thinking. Recorded errors are more dangerous than frozen truths. Because from errors, science learns how to move forward. Nature appears diverse, but it is never random. Aristotle began to classify life, not to dominate it, but to understand it. He saw patterns of structure, function, and purpose. Living beings did not stand alone. They followed tendencies that could be mapped. To classify was to dismantle myths of spontaneous creation, and without realizing it. Biology was born before it had a name. What if humans were not exceptions? Aristotle compared humans and animals. He searched for continuity, not separation. Humans think more complexly, but still eat, breathe, grow, and die. If humans are part of nature, they are subject to the same laws. And here began the collapse of anthropocentrism. Dogma rarely falls by direct assault. It collapses through erosion. Small facts, repeated, undeniable. Aristotle's notes worked that way. One observation could be ignored. 100 began to disturb, and grand stories began to leak. The irony of history begins here. Aristotle's writings were sanctified. Their content was worshipped. Their method was forgotten. Science nearly died from excessive reverence, but the small details survived. Modern scientists still open Aristotle, not for his answers, but to see how he looked. Methods are more dangerous than theories, and Aristotle won too late. Science was not born from grand ideas. It was born from small habits. Looking, recording, and being honest with reality. That requires humility. Aristotle changed the world, not because he saw farther, but because he saw more carefully.